Hello class, my name is Isaiah Dela Cruz, and today I'll be talking about how research has linked the human microbiome, the basal metabolic rate, and the implications that may have on battling obesity. But first, a quick note on why we should care about this research in the first place. Obesity in America has been on the rise for decades. More than half of the population is considered overweight or obese, which comes with a host of health risks. So what does this have to do with your basal metabolic rate, or BMR? Well, while it may surprise you, most of the calories you burn on a day-to-day basis are purely for maintenance. In other words, similarly to how a car that is idle will still burn gas to stay on, you, rotting on the couch and scrolling TikTok, are still burning calories just to stay alive. And just like how some engines burn more fuel than others, an individual's BMR can vary widely. Now, if you've ever browsed the health and fitness side of the internet, you may have come across videos and articles like these, all claiming to have some hack or method boosting your metabolism. The sad reality is, most of these are misleading and should largely be ignored. So instead of wasting your time with those, let's see what science actually says about improving your metabolic rate and the gut microbiome's role in it. This is Dr. Frederick Beckhead, a renowned scientist and professor from the University of Gothenburg in Sweden. Dr. Beckhead's research focuses on the gut microbiome and its influence on metabolic health. In 2011, his paper, Programming of the Host Metabolism by the Gut Microbiota, was published in the peer-reviewed journal Annals of Nutrition and Metabolism. In it, Dr. Beckhead reviews key experiments his own team conducted in germ-free mice and also summarizes many other studies showing how the gut microbiota influences host metabolism. Before we get into the details of that study, let's take a look at the gut microbiome. Dr. Beckhead describes the gut microbiota as a highly dynamic metabolic organ. This is because it will rapidly alter its cellular composition as well as its gene transcriptional network in response to dietary shifts. These alterations have been linked to metabolic health, and according to Dr. Beckhead, a key marker for a healthy gut microbiome is diversity. And speaking of diversity, the following are the 6 major phyla that can be found in the gut microbiome. The 2 most prominent are the firmicutes and the bacteroidetes. Each phylum contains hundreds of species, so I only listed some of the key examples. As I mentioned, the composition of these groups will shift with disease and age. Now, let's take a look at how these shifts have been linked to metabolic health. As soon as we're born, we are immediately colonized by environmental bacteria from our mother, which marks the beginning of our microbiome. As we age, it will shift and diversify, but why exactly some bacteria will flourish over others is not entirely known. Dr. Beckhead proposes a few potential factors like changes in diet and our immune system. Now, why do I keep harping on diversity? Well, research has shown that adults with inflammatory bowel disease and type 2 diabetes have lower levels of Faecalibacterium, and some studies have also reported reduced in bacteroidetes in adults with obesity. More research is needed to clarify causation, but these trends show a strong association between microbiome composition and metabolic health. So what research has been done so far? Well, one of Dr. Beckhead's key experiments referenced in this paper was an examination of how germ-free mice's body fat percentage would change once they were colonized with bacteria. In it, 3 conditions of mice were examined: germ-free mice raised in a sterile environment with no microbiota, conventionally raised mice, which served as a control group, and lastly, germ-free mice that were later inoculated with bacteria from the conventional mice. At about 8 weeks of age, researchers introduced the microbiota by applying fecal contents from the conventional mice onto the fur of the germ-free mice. Since mice grew constantly, this allowed them to naturally ingest the bacteria and become colonized. These mice were then housed separately but kept on the same diet as the germ-free group, and after about 2 weeks, the results were striking. The conventional mice, despite being on the same diet and actually eating about 29% less food, developed roughly 57% more body fat than their germ-free counterparts, a clear indication of a fundamental shift in their metabolism. So, does this mean we have our microbiome to blame for when our pants don't fit anymore? Well, not exactly. Gut microbes don't magically override calories, but they do influence how efficiently we extract energy from food, how fat is stored, and how our metabolism is regulated. In his paper, Beckhead proposes that the microbiota may contribute to fat gain by suppressing a protein called ANGPTL4, which normally helps break down stored fat. He also highlights evidence suggesting that microbes can increase glucose uptake and promote fat synthesis in the liver. So in short, the microbiome helps decide what your body does with the calories, but diet and lifestyle still matter. We are still in the early stages of microbiome research, especially when it comes to understanding the exact mechanisms at play. But thanks to Dr. Beckhead's research, along with many others, we are learning more about this mysterious organ every year. With that progress comes exciting potential targeted microbiome therapies, precision probiotics, and new ways to prevent and treat metabolic disease. That concludes this presentation. Thank you for listening.